Hey y'all, hi. Okay, trying new makeup. I have a bunch of interesting makeup here. A lot of it is Sarah Creal, and then there's some Weis blush that I've had for a while but haven't even opened. A couple of other random small things, and I really want to use my Dior eye palette today. The Dior Backstage Smoky Essentials eye palette. I've just been hankering to use it. So a little bit of old, a little bit of new, hanging out, togetherness. You know, if you're new, I hope you'll subscribe. I'll also link my book in the description box down below. Let's get right into the meat of the video. This is one of those days when the lights feel really bright. I really feel like I've just dragged my sorry self to the starting line of this weird job. I mean, I love this job that I've created for myself. It just never feels shallower or more difficult than in incredibly dark times like these. Actually, quickly, I just want to say this. I think a lot of us are in this place right now. I've been thinking a lot about how surreal and dissonant it must be to work like at a grocery store or at a restaurant right now with starvation so much in the news. But it's not just work. It's like everything. I can barely watch my child eat. Yeah, I can barely stand to watch my child eat. It's like everything good and lively in life echoes with the suffering of others. And I have no answers. I think I just got, it's like almost everyone compartmentalizes in order to do their job. I do that too. And then sometimes I kind of get to a tipping point where I just have to say something if I'm going to go on. I will say I've been really grateful for my friend Julia Frodal and the community that she has created. She is such a skillful guide towards making one's compassion sustainable and also eventually actionable, like eventually stable and large enough to have an effect. I will link Julia down below. I have never been more grateful for her. But wow, hard to show up some days. Although I know a lot of you depend on content like this to get through your own similarly difficult days. So we will proceed. I have nothing on my face except a little bit of serum. I've been using some serums. I don't have them here, but they were sent to me by Glow Recipe, which I always used to think was kind of a lightweight brand because of the styling, honestly, like the cheeriness of the packaging. I'm really into their serums now. I really like their skincare. So I have one, the pomegranate one on my face. I'm going to add, oh, actually I have something to test. Wow, sad. I wasn't expecting it to be dark beige orange. It's the Sarah Creal Brilliant Repair Shield in the shade Staycation. Maybe that should have tipped me off. I don't know if it comes in other shades or if it's just this. SPF 50 Illuminating Serum. So let's see how much of this is just illuminating pigment and how much is like orange. Okay, this is really interesting texture. It's not thick. It's very thin, but it really sticks without being sticky. It's like it's very thin, but it's very stiff. So a little bit doesn't go a long way. It immediately grips to the skin and makes a very thin, but very stable layer. It's just unusual. Most serums with this thin, drippy texture don't behave that way. It's not oily at all. It's really, really stable and sturdy. And it feels like, I don't know, a little bit did go a long way. I didn't end up like rubbing it in or layering it on top of itself. It's like wherever I put it, it was there and it stayed. And then I just moved on and put it on to the next part of my skin. And now it's just like really, really sealed over my skin. And I don't think that it is showing up too dark. It certainly isn't helping with my redness. It certainly isn't counteracting my redness. Like I would prefer that it was green rather than orange, but I like everything else about it. I'm going to put it on the other half of my face too. I think my skin looks great for like a base. It's a really illuminated, lovely base, but I'll tell you, that is the heavy duty layer of very protective, apparently sun protective as well. It's SPF 50 face treatment. I mean, that is some intense business. It'll be interesting to put makeup on top of it. I'm going to give it a second actually to really set because it has that sticky, almost like balloon skin feeling that makes me worry. It doesn't feel like it's going to pill, but the fact that it's so present makes me worry that if I go straight in blithely on top of it, it might. I just want to give it a second. But I actually want to tell you about something quite healing that I did get to do lately that I had the unbelievable privilege of being able to do, and that is this. For my 40th birthday, my sister got me tickets to Cowboy Carter, and I got to see Beyonce in concert. My friends, I know the tour is over now, so it's such a rarefied thing. I think the tickets were hard to get. They were expensive. Even if it wasn't over, I don't know if I would be here saying like, go see it right away. Like, you have to see it because, you know, but it was the experience of a lifetime. You know what I'll do? I'll link, I think that there are some videos, full videos of like the whole concert up on YouTube right now of the final night of the tour. If nothing else, just watch like like the opening, the way that it started. The dancers came out in these like red hooded robes. It started with American Requiem, the beginning of the album. Dancers came out in these red hooded robes and sang like the opening of American Requiem, you know, for things to stay the same, they have to change. I could like cry. It will make me cry if I try to even tell you, but you have to know. Okay, so chilling, amazing. And then it transitions to the next part of the song, and then Beyonce from the back, from underneath the hat, started with there's a lot of talking going on. And then like a pause. Just imagine it, right? There's a lot of talking going on, pause, and then like the stadium erupts and like a long pause. And then she goes again, there's a lot of talking going on. It's like, I lost my actual mind. From the very first moment, I like lost my actual mind. It was so good. And I've never been to a huge stadium show like that. And I never even thought that I would want to go to one. But, you know, this was the exception. And it was better than I even dreamed. And I had pretty high expectations because I had seen Trixie and Katya talking about it on The Bald and the Beautiful. And they both said it was the best thing that they'd ever seen in their lives. It was also just so nourishing to be surrounded by Black women, primarily. I mean, it was just this massive crowd, mostly Black women. That was such a privilege and such a joy. And to be able to be there and witness the show together. And the album, I mean, I think, you know, everybody's heard it, but if you haven't gotten into it and sort of heard between the lines, the message, the metaphors, all of that was like magnified and sort of made exponential and made clearer by the imagery and the interstitial films in the concert, like in the tour. It's so wonderful that an incredibly potent piece of performance art like that can be touring and be absorbed at such a massive scale. It was really encouraging. An example of how art can be a balm, you know, even at the hardest of times. So I'll put in some footage, okay? I tried to take some really good footage. I'll put it in right now. Beyonce Knowles Carter, national treasure. Okay, it has set as much as it's going to set. I don't really have any new brow stuff to try, and I just dyed my brows like this morning. I'm gonna put a tiny bit of the the dregs of this. Okay, I'm like doing my brows, still thinking about Beyonce and like still fighting tears, but I have to get it together. American Requiem, indeed. All right, we'll save the eyes for last. I feel like with my brows being freshly dyed, that's kind of all that they need. I have reverted back to this product that I got a long time ago, okay? And I talked about it, and it's like searching for a brown mascara. And I found this from 1999, the Lash Tint mascara, which comes in a taupe shade. I was into this at the time. It seemed a little dry to me. I recently rediscovered it, became re-obsessed with it, and started using it in kind of a new way, which I'll show you when I've been using it on my lashes as well as my brows. When I get to the mascara part of this video, I'll show you how I've been using it. I love it so much that I bought a 3-pack, which you know me. I never buy backups, but it's as much that I just wanted it to be everywhere. Like I want one in every bag. I want to be able to find it easily, and it feels like there's not much in there, and it's like I'm using it on my brows and my lashes, and I'm using a lot of it, and so I feel like I'm going to go through it quickly. So I feel like having 3 to me is the same as having 1, because I'm just like using all of them at the same time. I'm not using one until I use it up and then using it. I'm using them all, and I'm going to just use them all up in the time that it would take me to use up like a mascara or 2, you know? This is everywhere in my life right now, and I have been using it in my brows as well. I just don't feel like I need to put it in them. Well, maybe just a tiny bit. I've just been using it to like push the hairs into shape, and it's subtle enough that builds the brows a little bit, but it doesn't just make like a crazy layered sort of uneven pigment situation. And the little brush is so useful, so convenient. I guess what I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been doing. I've been using other mascaras and then going in with this brush and kind of mixing the taupe pigment with the black mascara, so it turns into like a very ashy, sort of washed out black taupe, and really fluffy and incredibly the most natural looking lashes I have ever been able to achieve ever. Because some mascara is getting kind of mixed into the tubes, the shade, which is like a pale taupe, becomes a little bit darker and ashier and more like the shade that I tend to dye my brows. So it's this ongoing like mixology art project where you never really know what you're going to get, and I've loved the results. Moving on from brows, Creal sent me a new concealer. They have expanded the shade range. I'm not sure if it's released yet, but they are expanding the shade range. So I've tried this concealer before and I really loved the texture, but it was too dark and peach for me. This is Face Flex shade 0.5, and it's so interesting. When I first swatch it, it looks really dark. And when I like first dotted it onto my face, I was like, this is just as dark and peach as the other shade was. That is what concealers look like when they're not gonna work on me at all. But when you buff it out, it starts to like lighten up. It's almost like there are pigments in it. Like, look at that. Look how much lighter it became than that peach swatch. It's almost like there are pigments in it that like break, like capsules of pigment that break and make it pale by several shades, make it paler by several shades when you start to blend it out. And I've had this experience every time. I've been using this. Some of this is new to me, but I've been using it. However, I still get better results with green color corrector with this product. And because I put on that orange, again, like it doesn't look that orange. I just know it has darkened my skin like a little bit, or at least not helped. I'm gonna put on a layer of this Prisme Libre color corrector from Givenchy just to kind of balance it out. Yeah, it's like all that has done is counteract a little bit the tint that was in the sunscreen. Now my face, it pretty much just looks as red as it did when I started, no more, no less, but we'll see what the concealer can do on top of that. The one thing from Creal, for some reason in my head it's like Creal. The one thing from Creal that I had tried before that I had gotten really into was this brush, a concealer brush. There's something about it, I don't know. I just love the way that it treats every single concealer. So I've continued to use that with this. I will show you what it does. Doesn't it look terrifyingly dark and peach? Like it's just not gonna work at all. And then it blends out into this kind of skin-like soft matte that just feels like it disappears into the skin without necessarily melting in. It doesn't have a melty texture. If anything, it has sort of a whipped texture, but it just disappears. Leaves a really pretty finish behind that. Because it's not really light greenish white, like the color of my neck, it doesn't give me that super brightened with foundation, like really full coverage face look. I also think I've gotten a little sun lately. I have to say the shiny glossy finish of the sunscreen has made my texture and sort of blemishes on the sides of my face here stand out more. So I feel like I need to add more than I have been adding to tone down the finish as well as the redness on my skin. But that's enough for me. I know that on camera it's probably looking pretty flawless. In person you can still really see like my acne scars, but it's quite toned down, which is what I prefer. Good skin with blemishes or like good skin with scars. That's the look I'm always going for. So here's the concealer on half of my face, but not the other half. Again, my experience with this is that it just behaves really well, right? It does exactly what I want it to do. I don't notice anything throughout the day. I put it on, it works, and then I never think about it again. I would love if this lighter shade was more olive, like more truly neutral, had that gray undertone rather than leaning peach, but it's pale enough that with a little bit of green color corrector, it kind of works. And because I like the finish so much and because I find it so effortless, and I think also because maybe my face is like a shade darker than usual because it's towards the end of the summer and I've been getting a lot of sun, I've actually been using this a lot. I've just been grabbing it because it's so easy to use. It's really like no fuss, no stress. I'm glad they expanded the shade range. I'm gonna get the other side caught up. Yeah, the finish is really, really pretty. I feel like with this, I have to be careful not to apply too much because it does have the ability to be extremely full coverage and to go to that place of like perfect makeup, like flawless face in the mirror, flawless face in the camera. In person, it then looks quite makeup-y, and I don't really want to do that. When I hold it back, especially using the concealer brush, which is just so lovely, the way the blend that it gives, when I hold it back from that, the finish is really beautiful and invisible. But right towards the end there, I could see it starting to build up a little on my chin, and I was like, don't go too far, Hannah. But what I'll say too, for those of you who have my pretty much exact complexion, because I know there are a lot of you who do, in order for this to feel not at all dissonant with like the color of my neck and the rest of my body, I've been bronzing my neck just a little bit, which is what I've been enjoying doing lately. I don't actually have my bronzer here, so I'm not going to do it right now, but I feel like the shade is like almost there. When I lean back into the other light, I think you can kind of see how really like translucently ghosty pale my neck and chest are compared to the healthier looking color of my face. That contrast is something I don't usually like to go about my business with that. So I have been like bronzing up my neck a little bit just to make it work a little bit better, but it's very slight. It's just something I'm quite sensitive to. It's like my pet peeve. If you don't have a shade match issue with this product, I think it could be a great everyday kind of luxury concealer for a lot of people. Oh, I forgot to give it, I have the Salt New York Sneaky Balm here. I was going to compare to that so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is the Sneaky Balm in N13. The Sneaky Balm in N13 is on the bottom, closer to my pinky, and the buffed out swatch of Sarah Creal 0.5 is on top. So you can see that in terms of how light they are, they're very similar. It's just that N13 is much more like the actual skin of my body. It's that neutrality, that sort of grayish green tinge, it's much more truly neutral. Whereas with the Sarah Creal, as with so many products, I'm having to fight a little bit of a peach tint. I also think that the product underneath is so heavy duty that this thing, the Brilliant Repair Shield, it's such a layer that it's making everything on top of it feel a little bit heavier, like more makeup-y. I've been liking the Sarah Creal concealer better than I like it right now. I think it's because it's layered on top of that other product. This would be really great if you're not putting that much makeup on top of it. If you're just like going to the beach or something, I think that the finish would be incredibly beautiful. This just with a little green color corrector, I kind of liked that better than I do this in person. I think it looks great on camera, but in person it's just starting to look a little bit heavy. That is what always happens when I'm doing this. I really want to get into the, oh no, you know what I have to do? I said I was going to save the eyes for last, but I can't because if I get into the rest of the face, I'll do too much. And I really want this eye look that I've been imagining. The Dior, I've been getting a little bit more back into this. This is like my favorite eye makeup. And let me show you what I like to do, and this is why I like this product so much. I just like to use my fingers, y'all, like a grubby little toddler. So this is the middle shade on the bottom. I guess it's mauve. And I'm literally just gonna, I don't even have anything on my eyes. I'm just really into this like easy makeup, like life, makeup for life. And the thing about this is that the formula is such, the pigment level is such that it is okay. This turned out a little blotchier than it has been on this eye, but I'm gonna add some more and I think it'll be okay. I think my lids are actually a little dry right now. And usually when I've been going in with this, I've had slightly oilier lids and it's like stuck better. My skin's really dry right now. Okay, I'm gonna go to, I think this like dark burgundy one in the corner. It's like a brownish burgundy and get a little depth in the corners of my eyes. Okay, so it's this watery, sort of barely there, uneven tint. I'm gonna take this shade, which is like a sparkly black, and put it all over. So it's gonna darken it, but also make it a little glistening. And then I also want some on my lower lash line. I think for that, I'm going to use this like sheeny taupe that's in the middle. And I'm just using the edge of my finger to rub it kind of into my lashes on my lower lash line. I also have this really black eyeliner. I wish I had a different one, but I can't find any of my like lighter colored eyeliners. This is from Ouzo Beauty. So I'm just going to use a little bit of it and then kind of like smudge it. Okay, so I put the black eyeliner on my waterline and smudged it out a little with my fingers on my lash line, kind of outer corner, and smudged it out a little bit. This has ended up a bit more dramatic than I was expecting, but it is kind of what I was going for. It's like really messy, grungy, slept in it, but kind of a watercolory version of that. It's like a little bit angry eyes, but it's sort of a watercolory version of that. I did get some fallout, so I'm going to take care of that. A little bit the look that I call aging Italian movie star, you know what I mean? Like a little bit of all of that is here. And it's interesting. I haven't done eye makeup in a long time. I think this is like the future for me. Like when I do it, it's going to be this kind of thing. Let me show you what I've been doing for mascara, especially in this case. Like it used to be that I would finish a look like this with a bunch of thick black mascara. I don't want to do that anymore. So my new technique is perfect. I'm going to take the Kulfi mascara, put a little bit on each eye. And now I'm taking the 1999 Lash Tint in taupe and combing through each side over and over again, going back and forth before the other mascara has a chance to dry, brushing it through until each little hair is like individuated, but also bulked up by the products and a little bit lengthened. And the color, the black color, is sort of tempered by the taupe color. I love the lashes that I ended up with. It's just like really fluffy and a little bit dramatic, but not overdone, tactile, but in like a pleasant and kind of casual way. And then I'm going to use the taupe on my lower lashes. It just adds a little bit of something, but without overwhelming the look, which thick black mascara on my lower lashes, which are quite long, tends to overwhelm them. I'm here for it. This is me now. It's a bit pink. I kind of wish I had used a more neutral color instead of the mauve mauve, but I'm not totally mad at it. Actually, I'm gonna add a little more of the shiny black. Like, didn't stick as much as I wanted it to. Yeah, that's more what I was after. See, it's on this lid and not that lid. Really does it. Okay, now I feel like I can approach the rest of my face without being in danger of overdoing it. Now, like, I know what I'm dealing with. I mean, this is fine too. I love like a dramatic eye without that much on the rest of the face. I want to put on this Kjaer Weis blush. So I've stuck them all into this palette. So we have Joyful, Embrace, and Desired Glow. Joyful is this red one. I used to love this blush. I go way back with the Kjaer Weis blushes. I've never tried Embrace. I think that's probably on the docket for today, although I'm so curious about Joyful and Desired Glow because I used to love both of them. Like 15 years ago, I had them each one at a time. I would like only have one blush at a time and I like completely panned both of them. And my tastes have changed so much, right? And now for me, the redness of them, the pinkness of all three of these, well, the pinkness of Joyful and Embrace and sort of the redness and orangeness of Embrace and Desired Glow, it's just not what I would have chosen for myself. But since they're here, I'm excited to see how they end up actually looking or how Embrace ends up looking. Okay, it's kind of a lot. I'm ending up really made up, but it's blending out well. It's blending out to be more natural than I had initially feared. I feel like I was worried that the eyes and a strong blush look would be too overwhelming together, but in fact, I actually feel like they're sort of working together. I like this formula. It's very pigmented, creamy. It has that sort of lipsticky opacity, blends into the skin really well. I'm curious to see if it will work to tone the whole thing down with this Creal product, which is called Today's Highlights. This just in. And I have played with this a little bit, but it's been like covertly at night when there's not that much light and I can't really see what it's doing. So let's see what it does. It has that sort of glazed gloss and I like that, but it's also kind of peachy. You know, it's just like a peachy shade, just like a lot of the other stuff. It should end up pretty sheer. I can't help but feel like it's subtly adding a little bit of peach, you know, and it is also quite balmy, but I'm going for it. I'm actually, no, I guess I'll do it with my fingers. I'm going for it. I'm going to put it all over my cheeks, nose, and brow bone to see if I can sort of make the whole thing a bit more like melted into my skin and a little bit more cohesive. Ironically, like adding more makeup in order to make myself look less made up, my specialty. Well, what happened was, as soon as I touched my lid, it like mixed with the eyeshadow and then like started making me look like I have a black eye. The best laid plans. Oh my gosh, Hannah. Wow, I'm like ruining it because look, when I tried to fix it, it wiped off. I think I'm gonna have to take all of the eyeshadow off. So say goodbye. It would have been nice. We're gonna be left with just like what's on my lashes. But it'll be cute. It'll still be very like the look that I'm going for. And this is also good to know that you can do this, right? If you start messing up your eyes at this stage. So I put the highlighter on and I'm using it like as a makeup remover. Okay, so I put the highlighter all over the balm. I mean, it's a balm highlight, right? I put it all over both of my eyelids. I used the towel to wipe the eyeshadow away, except the eyeshadow is the closest to my lash line and the eyeliner I kind of just left. And then I coated both eyelids with the balm highlight, kind of rubbing it into my skin almost as if it's like an eye cream or something, like a skincare, and used that to blend the eyeshadow that was still there and kind of mix it in and buff it all over the lid. And I've got to say, I'm completely obsessed with the result. I think this looks better than it looked before. I really like it. What's on my lids now is a mix of the balm highlight and kind of like the dregs of the eyeshadow that was there before. And the balm highlight is also being pulled down like onto my cheeks and it's incredibly glossy. So the whole thing has become much more cohesive, a little bit played down. I love it. I'm like so much happier with it than I was before. Wow. All that remains, I feel, are the lips. And I do already have this Creal product on my lips, which is the Adults Are Talking. It's like a lip serum. It's like a solid lip serum. And this is a clear one called Clarity. It's really pretty. It's a lot glossier than I was expecting. I actually feel like I could stop here. Like the makeup look could be done here. But there are all these other lip products that I want to put on. I don't even know which one to choose. I don't think I'm going to wear lipstick today because there's already a lot on my face, but I have to show you these shades. This one is called Mansplain, and that one is called Madam President. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful shades, especially Mansplain. They're maybe a little on the orange side, although I feel like the brick rust of Madam President is also very pretty. It's kind of giving Merit Tiger. I can't wait to wear both both of these, but I want to stick with the overall glossy and effortless look today. So I think what I want to do is wear this. It's a lip gloss. The shade is called No Further Questions. I'll swatch it. I mean, it's like the perfect color to finish this look. It's not sticky. It's not so thin as to feel oily, but it has like lip oil vibes and that it just feels really nourishing and not too thick, but not too thin. I like it. Everything's like very luxe. Okay, I really thought I'd lost the plot with the eyeshadow. I've been messing with that palette, but again, more like later in the day when my lids have some oil on them or maybe like some highlight on them that has faded. It's been going better with something to stick to. So I think in the future, if I go straight on like a clean face with that eyeshadow palette, I'll use a lid primer, which I have not been doing just because I've been playing with it instead of like doing a serious look. So that taught me a lesson, but I also couldn't be happier with the way that my eyes turned out. Like this is my favorite eye look, how it is now, that I've done and seen in like years. I'm so into it. I don't know how the balm will do over time. It's so almost like a skincare product that I feel like it's gonna do pretty well. And then if it gets creasy and gunky, I can just press my finger into it and like buff it out. Here we are. And I am equipped now to go on and do the rest of what I have to do, which is to film some B-roll for some fashion content. Thank you for being here with me, for being part of my community and thinking about something else for a little while with me. That's all I have to say. I really hope you're taking care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.